In this tutorial, in Adobe Premiere Elements 2018, we're going to look at two special effects that you can use to modify the angle and the tilt of objects on your screen. This is normally used either with regular still objects like pictures or with video clips. What I have on the screen is on track number 1, I have a title track. It has my text and it has a gradient background. What we're going to do is add another track, but we're going to make it look a little bit special. I'll go to my Project Assets bar at the top, and we'll drag down this picture of this gal on the phone and drag it to video track number 2. I don't want to automatically do this, so I'll say no. And then we'll close our window. So now I have this picture of this gal on the phone. I need to make this smaller, so I'll simply go ahead and with it highlighted, we'll make it somewhat smaller, and then we'll move it to the upper right quadrant of the screen a little bit. And that works fine. I could go ahead and play this and watch her talking on the phone with this particular kind of background. But let's do a little bit more to that. We're going to try, first of all, to use our transform special effects. So I go to my action bar on the right and click on the FX. And in the distort section, I'm going to take transform and drag and drop it right onto my clip. And instantly it begins to do some things to it. I'm going to go ahead and click on the reset arrow. That will put it back to normal. Let me describe the controls. You have an anchor point and a position, and we have these already set to the center of the image. You have a uniform scale. I encourage you to use this. You can change the height and width independently, but if you do, you'll find it will get slightly distorted, which is normally what you don't want when it comes to especially video. So I'll reset that and go back to uniform scale. Now I can change the scale like I did when I used the mouse, but now it will be uniform. I'll keep my proportions. The second option is a skew, and we have the axis on which we can control the skew. This will have no effect as long as this number is 0. But if I just take the skew and use the slider, I can skew it kind of up and down, left side, right side, and now my axis happens to be right in the center, which is usually most common. But I can also take and move the axis a little bit. Now I'm skewing it, but not off of the center. I don't know when I'd use that particular feature, the skew axis change, very often. I'm going to reset it again. Another option we have is we have one called rotation. So we can actually just purely rotate the image. And here a nice thing is you can control the degrees. If you wanted it 45 degrees, you just type in 45 over here. So rotating it is no problem using this particular tool, the transform tool. And then you have opacity, where you can change it from the default of 100 down to absolutely transparent, which is 0. And you can keyframe all of these over time if you want to. The last two controls here use the compositions option, and the shutter angle option are only apply if you are in Adobe After Effects. And so if you're not, you won't be able to do that. But if you want to add a little bit of rescaling here, or skewing, or rotation to your particular clip, you can do that really easily by adding the transform tool to the clip. I'm going to take this entire tool off by clicking on the garbage can, and I want to show you another one that you probably will use even more. It's called your corner pinning. I'll click again on the effects, and in the same distort section we have one called corner pin. I'll drag and drop that to my clip, and I'll reset it to 0 again. Now what corner pin is, allows you to change the XY position of all of the 4 corners of your object. So what I'm going to do, I want to make it look like this is at an angle, not flat on. So I'll take my upper right, this is my X coordinate, and this is my Y coordinate. So I'm going to take my Y coordinate and make it more negative. When I make that negative, it actually moves this corner up. It started at 0 and now it's a lot higher. I can always click on here and move the object if I want to, any place I want on the screen. Let's put it right there for now. Okay, so now I'm back to my object and I've corner pinned one corner. I can also take, for example, the lower right corner, and in this case I'm going to increase the Y coordinate even more. So now when I go ahead and play it, we'll stop it for now, okay, and we'll go ahead and play it. Now it's playing at an angle. If I had, for example, this clip and I wanted to show it playing on a television set or on a billboard that wasn't flat on with the camera, this would be a great way to turn it into an angled production. But even if you're not in that kind of situation, it's still nice to be able to do that, something like this. And again, I'll make it smaller or larger. I can change those features regardless. But when we click on here, the corner pinning gives you the option of changing wherever each corner of the object is. And it will function just like it ought to in any other case. Again, the reset is the left arrow, and to remove it, you delete the effect, you press the garbage can icon, and to make it so it doesn't apply, you can temporarily turn it off simply by clicking on the picture of the eye. So this is one way to look at that, but notice how much nicer it is when you do an effect like this. And so corner pinning is a nice way to add a little bit of dimension to your video, so not everything is square, up, down, right, left, and right angled.